Welcome to episode 3 of Bmore Geek Girls. I'm Radio Josie.
I'm Baltimore Lauren.
It's Cinco de Mayo. I have celebrated Taco Tuesday. I have also found, before the quarantine shut down, when they hadn't announced yet that liquor stores were essential, I made sure, just in case, because I am that paranoid of a person, and my anxiety is that bad, that I said to myself, I don't normally drink tequila, but just in case we're on quarantine during Cinco de Mayo and I can't get to a liquor store because they're all closed, I found this tequila that has these cute Scully dancers on it, because I know
I like that tequila. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't know much about tequila except for it makes me a little silly. But I really like the Scully dancers, so I said I will grab this, and just in case I can't get to the liquor store before Cinco de Mayo, I will have something. And since I don't drink tequila, I cracked it open tonight.
Perfect.
So that's where I'm at.
I celebrated with a bottle of Doritos Mandarin soda, and yeah,
I can't have that.
Celebrated. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you have fruit punch? Or I guess you don't know what's in fruit punch, so.
No, normally fruit punch, orange is a big filler, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big no. Yeah.
So what's happening in the wide world of Baltimore?
In the wide world of Baltimore. First of all, I found out, new at the grocery store, Lucky Charms marshmallows. I don't know if they're really new or just new to the Walmart in Perry Hall.
I think I got a press release about those a couple months ago. So, but I haven't seen them in the wild. I've only seen pictures. So
yes, I found them in the wild, and they pair very well with Scully Dancer tequila.
Fantastic.
I guess. Oh, right. No wonder I like it. It's finished in bourbon barrels. Espanol.
Oh, it's delicious.
Espanol tequila.
Sounds good.
Yes, we're both in our jammies tonight because it is Cinco de Mayo. And, yours is hooded. Who are you? Is it
Snorlax?
Oh, Snorlax.
No. So, I,
complete pause.
So, just to give a shout out to my friends at fun.com. They sent me this onesie as well as Artemis from Sailor Moon. So, when it's a little chilly outside or I just want to be looking hella cute, I wear this. Also, shout out to my boyfriend who hates these outfits. He thinks
why?
He thinks they are the dumbest thing. He's just like, I don't understand why you're wearing. So I don't wear them when I don't wear them around him. I don't wear them when he's around.
Nobody asked you.
He's also he's 19 years older than me. I think he comes from dressed nice all the time kind of dealy.
Yeah, I've dated in that age range, but I would be just wearing that just to be annoying is what I would do. And that is why I get divorced.
I'm thinking of one day just like wearing it around him to see what he says. So I picked Snorlax because he calls me, my nickname is Snorlax to him. And he has bestowed upon me many, I'm sure you can figure out why. He has bestowed upon me many, 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 many Snorlax stuffed animals.
Yes, so, I've seen. Yes.
Right. So I was like, well, I want to be the best Snorlax stuffed animal for him. So I got this. And he was like, yeah, I really hate those things. And I'm like, they're so comfortable. And like, when you go to conventions and you just need like a stupid costume to wear on a Sunday, this is perfect. Or when you go to a rave, like an anime convention rave on like a Saturday night, this is perfect.
I was going to say brunch in the hotel room, like at the hotel breakfast
hell
area.
Yeah.
Or honestly, I wore my Chewbacca one for a Star Wars day at work even. Like I have no shame. I went into work like that, and that's okay.
I mean, they're very convenient and they're comfortable. I've been collecting them for about 10 years now because I'm gonna show my weebness. They were popular in Japan. So I was like, those things are great. So I started buying them at anime conventions, and then like they started picking up in America, which made it a little more affordable because otherwise a kigurumi from Japan is like $70.
Right. And some of the American versions I think were definitely Americanized. Like
They can get up there too, but I mean the ones you find at like Target or Walmart are
they're
usually
like
around like
$20. Yeah.
yeah, they're like 20
25,
bucks.
30 max, and they're like generic. Like, hey, it's a unicorn.
Right. I've seen I have seen the Chewbacca one at Target, but I usually see it around Halloween.
Yeah, that's how mine came into possession. It's a Target one that was bought right after Halloween on sale. And
Fuck yeah.
I just roll the legs up. I bought it for Dave because he never wants a costume. So when I try to make sure I get Dave costumes, like here, just this happened to be right beside me. One year I just found these on like a dollar store or Five Below rack, and they reminded me of like Tony Stark sunglasses.
Yeah, I can see it.
So I bought them for Dave, and I'm like, here's your Halloween costume for this year. You're undercover Tony Stark. Or like the Chewy thing again, because it was easy. He didn't even have to wear clothes. And then I've stolen it since then. And once again, this is like clearance, because this is what we do is we go after Halloween and hit up the clearances. And we go to Savers, by the way. The Savers on Joppa Road has the best Halloween selection of like last year's stuff on super clearance.
Well, you know, it's funny. I think that's the only Savers that's still open because the rest of them went out of business.
Well, I hope this one survives the situation, because I did see a for lease sign out front, but I couldn't tell if that meant the Burger King, the Checkers, the Savers, or like whatever else is down in that little hill.
Right. Well, Savers started closing. Well, Savers started closing their stores like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Well,
because there were a few others that I went to, and now they're gone.
I put way too much salt on this, and it is wonderful, but also, but yeah.
I once shot tequila out of my nose because my best friend made me laugh.
I've shot Jello out of my nose for that reason, but not tequila.
It was bad, dude. I don't recommend
tequila generally makes me do back bends, though, which I will not be doing on tonight's show.
Oh, good. Okay.
But ever since I was a young thing, I could do drop back bends. In college, though, I did land a concussion because I totally forgot that I had a sprained wrist and went to do the drop back and couldn't land on a hardwood floor in a wrist brace on one of my hands and like have that go well. So that was a concussion. Shout out to Big Tuna for sitting in the York Hospital waiting room the longest with me. Dave, who I no longer speak to, was there, and a few other people waited in the waiting room. I was there for a long time, actually, for this concussion. But yeah, that was a heck of a night. So when I started pouring the tequila tonight in front of Dave, I was like, this smells like the best and worst nights of my life. And he's like, why are you drinking that? And I was like, there's a 50-50 shot. You're going to have the best night of your life tonight. He's like, I'll take it.
Yeah. I think I said last time where like certain smells just like take you back to a certain time. Mm-hmm. Mine is definitely Jameson. It's just why I don't drink Jameson anymore. So anyway, speaking of things that are closing.
Yes.
As you saw earlier, I sent you the link. The private school, not the college, the K through 12 private all-girls school, Notre Dame, is closing in Baltimore.
Yes, I used to read commercials for them when I had a job.
Well, I think they're the third Catholic school to close in the area within like the last 5 years. Yes.
A friend of mine put up a list of the the recent schools that had been closing, and I think 3 of them were Catholic, but there was 1 or 2 other private schools that he had listed.
Yeah, I predict that we're going to see more private schools that are Catholic or not Catholic that are just going to close up due to low attendance. People can't afford them anymore. It's especially after this pandemic. Oh well, might see
Everybody's home
the
anyway.
fall. Right. And unless they can adapt to online classes, but then again, like the whole point, I went to a private school. The whole point of going to a private school is like you want that special attention or the prestige of going to a private school. So if you're at home doing homeschool, like do you see the value in spending 24,000 a year when your kid's just going to sit at home? I I don't know. I
Not
don't
when
have
you can
kids, so
get the Maryland free education over the net thing. Like if you're going to stay home and homeschool,
right.
there's a free system to do that. So what's the point of saying I went to online private school? My background is a daughter of a public school teacher
My
from the
mom was a
middle
school
of
teacher too.
a cornfield where no, so literally, because Pennsylvania is so weird about the way they do things. My house was directly on the line, and my parents had a choice of which school to send me to, and they wanted to send me to the school district that was the same one my dad worked in for like social reasons. So like, so that way, because he was a part of the community, he wanted like us to go to the same school he was a part of the community in. And then my mom taught in a school district that wasn't one of the 2 choices, so it didn't matter. And right, so
Yeah.
her school district seemed pretty decent. And the school district I went to had vo-ag classes, but to take AP class, it had to be an independent study because we didn't even like offer that. But if you wanted to take tractor class, you totally could. And I don't lie. I don't lie. And there are people who are watching this who went to my school. When I say tractor class and basement kids, they know exactly what I mean.
I
And they know
feel like
exactly what?
they were not in Baltimore, but like Harford County, Hereford County.
Yeah.
Sorry guys if I
This
totally
is
butchered that.
basically
They
because
had that.
my district was north of Westminster, but right over the line. This is basically like just north of the Hereford zone, or, you know, the equivalency of like west of Harford County. So this is
Okay.
in that ag zone of things, just on the Pennsylvania side. So, but the
I
next school district over, which thank goodness, um, you know, now my sister-in-law teaches at, and it's the school district I wanted to go to. They had an indoor pool and swim team, and they had an orchestra. They did not have tractor class, and that's the other district I could have gone to because that's the other district that split through our property line. And I'm going to be bitter forever. And I have gone to therapy about this so many times. I can't even tell you. And guess what? Never getting over it. Never. Never.
my mom was a Baltimore City school teacher for 40 years. And it's just the shit she's seen. It's the only way I can put it, the shit she's seen.
I did classroom observations in Howard County schools and in York City schools, and there's definitely a huge difference in the kind of education you can get just a few miles away. But I never understood private school because, okay, so this is where things are like really off for me. You've hit one of my special interest rants, so please stand by. Because for me, it's always been like, why are you buying, let's say in Howard County, an $800,000 McMansion that's like right on top of the next one, just to go to a free public school that's supposed to be the best, but then other people are willing to live in less and then pay $30,000 a year to send their kids to a better school. And it's like, none of this makes any sense. Living in $800,000 plywood houses makes 0 cents just to go to a good school, and neither does having to pay $30,000 to get a good education. Like, none of this makes sense.
Well, then you have then you have Montgomery County, which is considered the best school district in Maryland, but there's still private schools in Montgomery County. But Montgomery County public schools are truly like one of the best districts in the state. And but there too, you have like the McMansions, because Montgomery County has some sass money. But I mean, you're right. Like I grew up in a well-to-do neighborhood, and I went to a stupid private school before getting thrown out for having back surgery. But I don't know. It's interesting to me. And it's funny. Like I don't think Howard County is considered that good of a county anymore.
It was. It always was. My aunt lived there, and
I mean, it's a good county. Don't get me wrong, but like
Yeah.
I think the schools aren't as prestigious as they were maybe 10 years ago.
No, there's that whole mess about redistricting that just has everybody on fire right now, and there's
Right.
like that whole thing that's very current. That's like very now. But I'm thinking, like when my aunt lived there, it was very much the place to be, and I'm thinking like where I grew up. So my specific neighborhood. So I went to that district with the ag, and I mentioned that, like the line going through my yard. So the other side of the line was obviously the district with the thing, with the pool, with the orchestra, whatever. They were literally my across the street neighbors and my next door neighbors. And then on top of it, we did have a private, well-known Catholic school. And those kids also lived in our development, and they were spread across both school districts. So it was like we had 3 districts in one development. It was just such a mess. So we didn't even really have multiple private schools to choose from other than the elementary schools that kind of fed into that one Catholic school. And we didn't really have like any other kind of private schools that I can recall, really. I think maybe there was one other like Christian school, but it was like the Catholic school, the Christian school, the public school. That was it. There weren't like, because we were so close to the Maryland line, if you wanted to send your kid to a place like St. Paul's, or I guess it's still religious, isn't it? Calvert Hall, that's still religious. Well, I guess they all kind of are, aren't they? But yeah, if you wanted to send your kid to a place like that,
boys Latin, I don't think is religious.
Okay, well, anyway, if you wanted to send your kid to a place like that, they were 45 minutes to an hour away, and you just sent them there.
Yeah. Well,
especially
I think
the boarding ones.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the boarding schools here.
I don't have any idea.
To go back to your point about living in like a not so nice area, but going to like a nicer private school. So a lot of the private schools here in Baltimore are over 100 years old. The one I went to started in the 1800s. So, in fact, Notre Dame also started, I think, around the Civil War era is when that school opened initially.
Right.
So, and you have to think back 100 some years ago, Baltimore was completely different than it is now. So if you look at the area where the private schools are, like take Roland Park, for example, Roland Park is still a very nice area. So you had legitimate, like wealthy mansion-y areas, and you can still kind of see like where the mansions were. Some of them still exist. Roland Park is still a thing. So
but other places, the mansions have been cut up into other things.
Right. They've been turned into like apartment complexes.
Yeah.
But I think it really is you're sending your kid to this prestigious school because it has a 100+ year history and there is prestige behind it. I don't like private schools. I am against them. I think there's a lot of problems with them, from abuse that goes on within the private school to just the fact that they do discriminate against a lot of kids, or they accept you based on certain criteria, so you fill a quota. So I don't know, I am completely against private schools. I am pro public education. I understand why people like private schools. I understand why they send their kids to religious schools. But that's to go back to your point of why people would stay in like a not so nice area. It's because there is so much prestige behind Bryn Mawr, Roland Park, Gilman, Notre Dame when it was open. Or even Calvert
I
Hall.
had very fancy people say to me, "Oh, don't you know you go past Gilman and you turn here?" And I'm like, "Go past what?" They're like, "Don't you know where Gilman is? Don't you know?"
Yeah, it's
Oh, and I was like, "No,
well,
I'm not."
Towson is.
Also, I'm not rich.
Yeah, that area is.
That was a very specific
very
impersonation
still.
of one person, by the way.
I mean, if you do go past Gilman, what past are you going past? Because you go down one way, you hit
You're going past the underpass.
the bridge.
Yeah,
that connects Bryn Mawr.
Yeah.
So you're heading to Loch Raven.
You're heading towards Loch Raven on Northern Parkway.
Okay,
and I lived off of Northern Parkway.
Right.
But I had no idea when I was passing and going under that what it even was.
I took my SATs at Gilman.
I had no idea what it was. No clue. It's just like, whatever.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you know, it's funny. I don't see the point when people put, because I've been a hiring manager at places before. So when they put down their like prestigious private school on their resume, I don't care that you went to X, Y, and Z school. Like, cool, you went to Gilman. Like, this isn't a good old boys club. This is a, can you do the work that you're being hired for? I'm more interested in your college, your experience. But people do put down those alma maters because there's a lot of alumni who will hire you based on the fact that you went to the same private school. Baltimore has a lot of that, I think, in this area.
I have picked up on that through the years. I've been down here since 2002, which is basically half my life at this point. So I picked up on a lot. Plus, every significant relationship I've had in my life, all but one anyway, has all been with guys from Baltimore. So, or a guy from Westminster. So, you know, it's even when I lived up there, I was dating guys down here. So it's like,
I
wanted nothing to do with being up there so badly.
And my boyfriend lives in Pennsylvania, but he's from
I know,
Brooklyn.
it's so funny because you'll check into places and it's like, I went there for dinner before prom.
I like it up there. His specific town is darling.
It really is. I will say that. And the nearby towns are really good. A lot of things have improved since I lived up there, actually. Like in a big way. Like there's been a lot of that Main Street grant stuff going on.
Yeah.
The fix up downtown.
Unfortunately, yeah, but I don't know if a lot of those places are going to survive after the pandemic is over. Like my biggest fear, you remember 2 years ago when Old Ellicott City had that flood?
The second one?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, the second one.
So I worked on Main Street in Old Ellicott City, and I was not at work the day the flood happened. But I did not have work for a little bit. A lot of those places already took out like $1 million loans just to reopen from the first flood. So the second flood really, really messed up a lot of things. And now this pandemic that has shut everything down, I really don't think a lot of those places will reopen. I don't know if a lot of these little cities are going to recover. I hope they do. And optimistically, I think they will. But
optimistically, I hope that they allow small businesses to reopen on some kind of basis. Very, very
soon,
because
if it wasn't,
things are on even footing right now.
Not at all. Well, then you've got people like Shake Shack and Ruth's Chris taking small business loans.
Well, they gave the money back.
They did, but
only after they took.
Why did they apply? Why did they apply in the first place?
Because why don't you apply? Why don't you just try it?
Because they're not a small business.
America. That's what people do. They try whatever they can.
Sure. But Shake Shack and Ruth's Chris can still do curbside delivery or curbside pickup. So I don't know.
I would
they
at
made
least
this whole
like to see
grandiose.
curbside come back, honestly.
The what?
Curbside for every business.
Oh, I love it. I do. I said last week I was doing curbside pickup from Atomic Books. That's where I pick up my beer.
I
Because I
would like
don't
it
want
for
Atomic
every
Books to go
small
away.
business, though. I don't see why not. I don't. And I am like a very immunosusceptible person. And I still think, like, listen, if they come out to me with the stuff in a bag, wearing gloves and a mask, and I stick my hand out and we pass through the door and I take it back in a glove with my mask on, then what?
You know, I went out to get stuff today, and I saw the dumbest thing. Are you ready for this? You might want to say.
What? Okay, hold on.
You might want to say, "Yep, do that."
We're ready.
So I'm sitting in the car, just like mentally preparing myself to leave the car, and I'm parked. So I look over, and there's this lady and her husband with like masks and the rubber dishwashing gloves,
Mm-hmm.
and they're taking hand sanitizer and sanitizing the gloves before they start the car and drive off while wearing their gloves. And I was like,
That's not exactly correct.
I saw that
Be
with
fussed
my
forever.
eyeballs. These are my good face eyes. And I witnessed that. And I was just like, what?
I did buy an emergency pair of the traditional yellow dishwashing gloves for each of us.
Very good.
One emergency pair each, because I found that emergency stash of 50 pairs of latex gloves, but we have yet to find any more gloves out. But I did find them. So I grabbed
you're in luck, friend, because that brings me to my next point. So I talk about.
Are we supposed to be talking about nerdy things? I guess running around in dishwasher gloves is pretty nerdy.
Well, this pertains to Baltimore. We are a Baltimore podcast as well.
Okay.
So
I'm going to nerd it up. I'm wearing this to work tomorrow. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome. So
I'm not even going to brush it.
I preach about this place on my Facebook, but Growls in Ruxton. First off, they're a local company. They have
excellent cake. Oh my God.
Oh my God, their bakery is so good.
Oh my God. They have the perfect icing.
It's so good. They've made me Archie cakes. They've made me Tenchi Muyo cakes. I bought some Wookiee cookies. So Chewbacca shortbread cookies, and they're very cute. I'll post a picture on the Facebook later. But Growls, which has been open in Baltimore for over 100 years, just about, they have gloves. They have gloves. Tons. Okay, they have gloves. They have I go once a week. I've been going once a week for a month. They always have gloves. They have masks. They always have masks. They have bleach for days. They have hand sanitizer. They have soap. They always have toilet paper. They always have tissues.
They won't let me bleach any more bones until we can buy more bleach.
Grouse has had bleach for a month.
I need more bleach. He won't let me use any more.
So what I'm saying is,
I'm trying to Growls here. It's been tragic.
Go to Growls in Ruxton. They have everything. Plus, they have really good food. I love their prepared food section. Their bakery is also super killer. But they're a local place. You'd be helping out a local store. And they have gloves. They have everything.
I can't say this too loud. I have to go over to 21212 tomorrow.
I don't know what zip code that is.
It's off of York Road. It's like York and Walker, so it's on the way up there. It's like
you'll be in the area.
I have to check this out. I had custom made stained glass cats. 5 of them. 2 white, 1 black, one calico and then one gray because Daisy looks mostly gray, even though she's calico. And I got them for Dave for Father's Day. And I have to go up tomorrow to pick them up. I didn't realize the lady would have them done so soon. But I am porch shopping from Facebook Marketplace.
I have been doing that as well. But yes, go to Growls, pick up your gloves, pick up unless their food.
Like the gloves, dude. I'm going for cake.
I mean, I do buy like their bakery goods every time I'm there, but I haven't. I mean, my birthday was in March. I don't need a cake right now. I would like a cake though. I would like their cake specifically.
I need a cake. I need a cake to celebrate a baby.
Growls. Growls is perfect.
Well, it's not going to deliver the cake to the people who had the baby, but I'm just going to eat it for them.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
They're in Los Angeles, and I'm here, but I'm going to eat the cake. That's what's going to happen.
Hey, cake is great. So, speaking of nerd stuff.
Yes.
Have you been reading anything lately?
Reading. Yes. I read a few more chapters in my Joseph Campbell book. And then I got all excited because Disney Plus now has a Disney something props show.
Oh, it's the yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Anyway, it's actually quite fantastic. Lauren is going to skip the Nightmare Before Christmas episode when she finally gets around to watching it, but it's actually a really great show. It's a lot like in the veins of The Toys That Made Us. It definitely has that same pace and feel. And I like a lot of that. The track I was on had something to do with what? Where were we going, Lauren? Cake?
Well, we were talking about things we were reading, and then we jumped into Disney Plus. Speaking of Disney Plus, as of yesterday, all of the Star Wars movies are on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Including the behind-the-scenes look at The Mandalorian, which, according to some of my friends, is fantastic. I decided to spend my May the 4th, besides recording my other podcast, Barzinga, by watching the greatest Star Wars special of all time, the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh my God. Oh, how could you? Lauren, what have you done? What have you done?
The greatest thing ever. It was so good. It's such good shit.
I spent my May the 4th at Collector's Corner hosting a special edition of the show of Selling Things, the Collector's Corner live Facebook show. And for the show, I spent a half an hour running around the store where Randy gave me carte blanche to sort of go around and pick anything that he hadn't picked. And I found the Ewoks movie on VHS. And of all the random stuff that I picked, that sold immediately the fastest and for the most money. And it was the thing that I made the audible scream when I picked it up and I saw this VHS and it was still sealed and I was like, ah! And at this point, Randy doesn't even ask what. Like, he's just learned that I'm just going to make a whole bunch of raucous noises all through the store, through the day. So he didn't even ask what I found.
But shout out to Collector's Corner.
Yeah.
Randy's a good shop owner.
Yeah. So I found this and yeah, it went like boom immediately. And I'm just so proud of myself for finding it and not hoarding it for myself. But the fact that you watched the Christmas special, who had it? How did you even get a hold of it? I want to hear more.
There's this website, maybe you've heard of it. It's called YouTube.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can find things on there. And then I decided to pay homage to everything that inspired George Lucas. So I watched Fritz Lang's Metropolis for the 1 millionth time. And it's my favorite movie. It's such a good movie. The book was terrible. The movie is great. And then I watched a little bit of Flash Gordon, the serials, because the scroll inspired the scroll in Star Wars. That's where he got that idea from.
Mm-hmm.
And I also watched Buck Rogers because Buck Rogers is my favorite. I love Buck Rogers. I think he's great.
So what's funny is about the Joseph Campbell book that I started reading after watching the Myths and Monsters documentary and then talking to my brother about it, who had already known about it and read about it. And so he was like, yeah, definitely get The Hero with a Thousand Faces, was that that also inspired Lucas a lot. And Joseph Campbell and him were like, so yeah, I was getting my May the 4th history on by chomping down a few more chapter of that. Which is a lot of like, and then Carl Jung said, and then Carl Jung said. So I feel like it's really good that I went to Psych 101 and 201 in college, and that I definitely never went there clear-headed at all, ever. Because everything makes a lot more sense that way.
Yeah. I don't even know where I was going to go with the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, I actually finished the thought this time.
Speaking of
big plus.
Speaking of space operas, though, how much do you love space operas?
3,000.
Is Iron Man a space opera? That's the question.
I just quoted Iron Man by saying I love something 3,000. I would like to just point that out. Is it a space opera? Well, he does go to space a lot. And if you read Joseph Campbell's The Hero with a Thousand Faces, you would know that part of the hero's journey is to leave his safe space and go to the other place or outer space or somewhere else as part of the arc of the journey. And technically, Iron Man does that as part of his growth process before he puts on the Infinity Gauntlet, and spoiler alerts. So,
but I don't know if I think
he starts on Earth, and I would say 2/3 of his story is on Earth. I would say Guardians of the Galaxy, all the way space opera. Hulk,
oh yeah,
I would even argue, is a lot of space opera. Even outside of what's in the movies, the comic with Planet Hulk and everything else, there's a lot of outer space stuff. So that's another Avenger with a lot of space stuff. Captain Marvel gets a lot of space stuff.
Captain Marvel's a space hero.
Yeah, there's a lot of space stuff there. But Iron Man himself, to me, he's always been sort of the simpatico of the Batman billionaire Earthling playboy.
I'm definitely gonna call myself out as a diehard DC fan.
I know.
He's a Batman ripoff. But then again, Batman is a ripoff of Zorro and other pulp heroes. So really, it's just art imitating art. You either like Tony Stark, but I think, or you like.
Yeah, but Batman is definitely like an Earth hero for sure. There's not a lot of Bat in space that was at least part of the original.
But Iron Man, I think his moment of getting out of his comfort zone was when he was fighting his alcoholism.
I would also say, yeah, definitely that. But he built his first machine in the cave on Earth. And he spends all of his time, even when he's doing space stuff, still defending Earth.
Speaking of space stuff, because I recently rewatched the first 3 Iron Man movies, Elon Musk is in Iron Man 2. I didn't even catch it the first time I saw the movie. And then I saw it again. I was like, oh, that guy.
Oh, that guy. I haven't rewatched those once in a while. We did rewatch Captain America.
I think Captain America is the first Avenger is a very easy rewatch. Yeah. I don't think all of them are rewatchable.
No. And we don't even, although it's technically still in there, even bother with Edward Norton Hulk.
Yeah. And I still haven't seen Doctor Strange.
Girl, though.
Well, the thing is, and I say this a lot.
Cumber Snatcher is the most finestest actor of the whole universe.
Well, Cucumber Melon Grab is a fine actor indeed. However, I my problem with a lot of the Marvel origin movies is that they all, I'm going to get heat for this, but they all of them
Mm.
are Iron Man 1 repackaged. Now, not always a bad thing, because going back to something similar that did make you money isn't a bad idea, but all of them are just Iron Man 1
But
rebranded.
this one has magics.
It also features a snarky white guy who gets superpowers when he thinks his life is about to end. So, you tell me.
But this one's hot.
I know I'm being like a super edgelord, but like I'm just tired of these superhero movies that are just so similar. And then you've got DC, which is like everything is dark and everybody's name is Martha.
I played game night tonight.
And Shazam. But then you get Shazam, and Shazam was wonderful.
I watched the Shazam on my quarantine. Finally, I never watched it.
It was really good.
That was better than I expected. But yeah, I played game night tonight, and the one question was if Batman used something other than the head to get into the Batcave, what would he use? And I said he would yell Martha loud enough for Superman to hear.
It's true.
We get into the Batcave. Because forever and ever, that has scarred me, really. Really. I watched the George Reeves Superman. I watched the Christopher Reeve Superman. I love the old Adam West Batman and Batman the Animated Series. And I like the old movies from the 90s or whatever. And then like that happened.
Wait, you liked the Schumacher movies?
I was but a wee child and enjoyed the Penguin and enjoyed those.
No, that wasn't a Schumacher film.
No, not that one. The other one. Which ones did what?
Returns. Batman and Batman Returns were the first two. Then you got Batman Forever, and then it was Batman and Robin. And the last two were by Joel Schumacher. No. And a lot of people credit Joel Schumacher with effectively murdering the comic book movie in the 90s.
No, I like the one with the Penguin.
That's Returns. That's Tim Burton.
Well, that's the one I like. And
that one was good.
I
think that one suffered from too many villains, I think. And I mean, they were both good villains. They're both classic Batman.
I did not like, what was the one that was Schumacher? Jim Carrey?
Yeah, that was Jim. Yeah,
that was a garbage movie.
But the interesting
what
thing.
What was the other one with Schumacher? I don't never pay attention to directors. That's not my thing. What's another Schumacher one?
Batman and Robin, which was Jim Carrey.
And that was Batman. Terrible.
And then Joel Schumacher also did Batman Forever, which was Nicole Kidman was a love interest. No,
I only I did like the the soundtrack for Batman Forever.
Oh, that was a great soundtrack. It was a
But that was the best part of that movie. But I like honestly, I'm tired of the Joker getting everything.
Okay, so Batman Forever did have Jim Carrey.
No.
All right, so I apologize. I'm losing my mind. Batman Forever did have Jim Carrey. He was the Riddler. Batman and Robin had Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr.
That
Freeze.
was terrible. Arnold ruins everything. Unless it's
oh my God. But I will in those specific movies' defenses. If you read a comic book, they look like a comic book. They play out like a comic book.
Arnold distract me from movie.
His ice puns were so stupid, but they worked so well in that godforsaken, bizarre Batman.
It reminded me too much of my dad.
I mean, his dad jokes were on point, but
those are the level of my dad's dad jokes, so it kept me out of the movie.
They were bad. I mean, the whole movie was bad. I was like 12 when it came out, and I was like, this is crap. You know what movie's really good, though, that came out in that same time frame? The Phantom. The Phantom was great. The Phantom was just like the comic book, the newspaper strip. Have you not seen The Phantom?
No. Is it on one of those things I watch, like Netflix, that it's free?
I don't know. I have it on DVD.
Well, that's free, too. Okay. I will write that down.
See The Phantom, though. It's great. Phantom is great. It's Billy Zane as the Phantom.
I love Billy Zane.
It's a very well done pulp comic book movie.
And I'm
if you're
looking
not
for
familiar
things
with,
to watch, so it's not always freaking barbarian sword boob movies.
hey, those are great too. They have their time and their place. But
They
you should
do,
watch The
but
Phantom.
I mean, I've
It's
gotten
great.
tired. I need something new.
Have you seen? And I'm late to the party on this one. I finally watched Ghost World.
No.
You haven't seen Ghost World?
No, dude, I've been over on Disney Plus. I watched the Mandalorian thing. I watched all but the last of the new prop show. I finished the Clone Wars season, which was, oh my God, Dave and I didn't talk for freaking 5 minutes. Like, that's the only thing I can say about the ending without it being a spoiler, especially because you know the part of the storyline picks up in Rebels. And if you've been reading ahead, spoilers for Mandalorian season 2, you know what's going on. So, I mean, what happens is like no surprise, but still when you watch it happen, we didn't talk for 5 minutes. We just like,
well, if you need other stuff to watch, I'd be happy to recommend you movies all day long.
Oh my God, it's over. Oh my God.
Wait, do you have the DC Universe streaming?
No.
I was on the fence about it. And then I really wanted to watch the Harley Quinn series. So
Oh, the one my girl
for
voices. What's her face? Who voices Harley Quinn in that show? I'm gonna Google it. I remember who it was. Some blonde girl. Anyway, I'll Google it.
Yeah, that was a good show. I liked it a lot. Kaylee Cuoco?
Oh, no, that's Kaylee Cuoco. She's the Big Bang Theory girl.
I've never seen Big Bang Theory, so
no, that's not what I was excited about.
It's actually a very funny show, and I'm glad I paid to see it. But also, the DC Universe has Doom Patrol, which I haven't seen yet, but everybody loves.
Wanda Sykes is on it. Jason Alexander, JB Smoove.
It's actually a good cast.
Yeah,
it's
really
solid.
good cast. Wayne
I really like
Newman. Rhea Perlman. Jeez Louise. Howie Mandel. Rachel Dratch.
Alan Tudyk.
George
Best known for his work as being a chicken in Moana. I'm sure he's done other things in his life, but he is best known for being a chicken in Moana.
That chicken is brilliant. Shredder has been saying hi all show and then got camera shot when I invited them on.
Hi, buddy.
But this isn't Shredder on my pajamas. This is... It's not
that's a dog.
It's a Scotty. I got this on clearance at Marshall's. Remember when you used to be able to just go walk around in Marshall's and shop the clearance and find things for like $3 because we could walk around a store and find things on clearance for $3?
Remember when you could do things?
Those were great days.
Remember stuff? Speaking of doing things, I heard that the NFL will only allow 25% capacity in all of their stadiums for the season. So that's going to suck. I haven't been for a few years. I am no longer a Ravens PSL owner. I was for a long time. Then they won their second Super Bowl and they were like $2,500 for season tickets. And I was like, no, I love the Ravens though.
I have never been
a season ticket holder.
A season ticket holder.
They are very expensive, but the games are so much fun. I cannot imagine being a PSL owner and a ticket holder and being told, you're only going to be able to go to 2 games this year instead of 8 home games. I would hope that they're going to roll over the tickets to next season or maybe like take some money off.
Something.
For next
season. I usually, that's more my level of going, is I go to 1 to 2 games a year. Usually it was something through work. And I was always blessed and very thankful for those opportunities. But normally one of those games would be the Steelers game because that's who I was really rooting for. Because that's where
Those are the best. Those are the best games to go to, though.
except for the times that I got like, spit on and actually really threatened, they've been great. Occasionally grown men who don't know the difference between fun sport things and being complete and total bullies to petite women, other than when that line gets crossed, things are usually pretty fun.
Right. Yeah. I was like, God, when I was like 10 or 11, my dad and I we were at a game, and this guy dumped beer all over me. And I was cheering for the Ravens at a home game, and I got beer dumped all over me from somebody from, I don't remember what team we were playing. It wasn't the Steelers, though. And we went home, and my mom was like, why does Lauren reek of alcohol? So,
yeah.
I've had some really good times going to Ravens games, so
I've had some great times, and especially when they're not playing the Steelers, and I go and I can actually root for the Ravens. That's even better. But mostly, it's been. I like the feeling of 80,000 people.
Oh, there's nothing like it. It's just such a thrill. That's why I
just like it.
I was about to say, that's why I miss baseball. And then I was like, wait.
But
the Orioles are my whole team.
Have been at 25% for years. What are you talking about, Lauren?
That's why I stopped myself. I was like, wait.
That's a great day at Camden Yards.
There's 5 people here. Well, the only time I've ever seen Camden Yards full, I got lucky. My friend Mark invited me to opening day a few years ago. And it's the only time I've ever seen the stadium packed. And it was a great day. I loved it.
Day. Oh yeah.
Always packed for opening day. Our hopes are like right here, and then one game in, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss baseball. I genuinely miss baseball.
I miss baseball, and Dave and I had a goal to go to all the Orioles minor league teams.
I wanted to do that this year too.
And get all their little ice cream hats and get some like little merch. And I really, 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 really wanted stuff from Norfolk because they have like this little like it's like a little seahorse, sea dragon looking dude that's like just too cute. Like I just want everything of it. Ever. I miss
things.
Yeah. And like the foodie fest up at Aberdeen we went to. That was so good.
So much fun.
We've gone
We've done some really, hey, remember a year ago when we got evacuated from the Baltimore Comic-Con during the tattoo convention?
Yeah. I do.
That was a year ago. A year ago I got this tattoo.
Right. Oh wait, where's my foot?
Witch.
Hold on. Let me get
You got something on your foot. I got a witch next to Natty Bo. You got that.
Ball.
It's a crystal ball for those of you who can't tell.
It's just upside down because I'm not going to stand on the table to do that. But I had other tattoos from in previous years. I've got this. This was from a guy, Jeff Miller in Philly.
That's cool. I have one for the Philly Tattoo Con.
And then I have 2 on my thigh from Lisa Dahl at Rose in Ellicott City. But I'm not lifting up my skirt tonight. Sorry.
I really do miss. That was fun though. We were there and we got evacuated and we went to the bar. So I have been evacuated from the convention center at almost every single convention I've been to.
Plus you got evacuated from the Sheridan.
Yep. Yeah, that's a common thing with me. I get evacuated from places.
Well, now you got a whole quarantine. How about that?
Speaking of quarantine, guess what's opening back up?
What?
Shanghai Disneyland is opening May 11th.
So is that going to be the first reopened Disney property?
That'll be the first park that is reopened Now, Shanghai Disney, for those of you who do not follow Disney Park bullshit, let me just break it down real fast for you. So, Shanghai Disney closed January 25th. A few weeks ago, they started opening small pieces like Disneyland Town and another part, including one of the hotels for dining and shopping. So they started to slowly reopen the park. Now, provinces around Shanghai have started to go back to school. Businesses have reopened. So Bob Chapek, who is the CEO of Disney Parks, decided today that they all came to this stunning conclusion. May 11th, the park would reopen. Now, that park's capacity is 80,000. They are only going to allow 25,000 people in for the first few weeks, and then as time goes on, they will slowly start increasing the number of people who can come into the park. If you go on Twitter and you look up Shanghai Disneyland, you can see they have line markers and like little sticker spaces that say, stay the fuck away from everybody.
Is it 6 feet still then?
It's still 6 feet.
Yeah.
Hence why they're not allowing everybody in at the same time. If you buy a ticket, it's only going to be good for a certain day. So if you miss that day, you're SOL. Now, this is common in Asia, but I have seen Americans throw a hissy fit about it. Face masks will be required both for staff and for guests. But again, in Asia, it's not that big of a deal. The what?
I said that should probably be.
Right, it makes sense. But characters, specifically like the face characters, do not have to wear a mask. That being said, you are not allowed to go like and run up and hug Cinderella. They'll still have to practice social distancing between characters and people. So meet and greets are going to be very different. I'm looking forward to seeing how they clean the rides between guests, et cetera, et cetera. They're also, I think they started doing they have been doing temperature checks in Shanghai.
But how do you do the meet and greet? Or are they just not doing it?
I mean, I guess you can stand far apart and still take a picture together, or like do a selfie with them like super behind you, but you can't just go run up to Mickey Mouse and give him a hug.
Right.
They are doing temperature checks. I read somewhere for Universal US parks are thinking of implementing temperature checks as well as like TSA type body scans before you go into a park. So it'll be really interesting. But now that Shanghai Disneyland is reopening in May 11th, that means that the Hong Kong will probably open next. And then maybe Japan. And then we'll see for the rest of the Disney Park universe.
Interesting.
So,
because I know Florida is, I think, itching to reopen just about everything. So I'm wondering where they want to be in reopening line here.
I really think it would be foolish.
I mean, golf courses are already open.
I think it'll be foolish of Disney World to reopen like that. I just think it'll be really foolish of them to open quickly. I mean, I get it. Like one of my best friends wants to go back now, and I'm like, I understand, but I don't want to. Think about it. If you get on Space Mountain, they don't have time to clean the cars between guests. So, like, germs will live there. Like, you really want to go back?
Or do they just make it a longer wait so that they do have time to do like a full like Clorox wipe Lysol spray down situation?
That's what I think they should do. But, you know, people, I paid $200 for this magical experience. I am not feeling the magic right now. So, you know, people will throw a fit.
I've never been to Disney, but I have been to Hershey Park more times than you can fart at. And let me tell you what.
I do love Hershey Park. Hershey Park is great.
I would not be mad if I went to Hershey Park knowing that instead of 50,000 people or whatever their capacity is, they allow 10,000 people, and that they take an extra 2 minutes between sending off the next car to Lysol the thing down, because you're not waiting in line as long because there aren't as many people there anyway. Duh.
Yeah, I would be for that. By the way, if you want to go to Disney World in like 2 years, we should go to Disney World in 2 years. You'd really like, do you ride roller coasters?
I am roller coaster queen. It's the other rides I don't like.
Well, Disney World is opening the Tron Light Cycle ride next year.
I need to have a long discussion with somebody about Tron and identity discs and everything after watching that prop show, because I have more questions than ever watching both of those movies combined multiple times can ever even answer. I had a major existential crisis after watching that prop show for Tron.
I love Tron Legacy, and I'm so sad
I don't know what any of this crap is even about. I have watched them so many times, Lauren.
Well, I mean, they're about
so many times. I've read the wikis, I've read plot summaries, I've watched it with closed captioning on. I have tried to do everything in my power to try to make that movie plot make any kind of sense. And I have.
Did you watch the cartoon show? There was a cartoon show.
I know that there was a cartoon show.
Did you watch the cartoon show?
No, I was swimming.
I haven't seen it either, but
I was swimming.
I have played the. Okay. I played the pinball machine. It did not help the plot at all.
Does Disney Plus have the cartoon?
Fantastic. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe. You know what Disney Plus does have, though? Everything else. Literally, Disney's just buying
it. Doesn't
everything.
have the Ewok movie I sold the other day.
No, that doesn't. I don't think it has Indiana Jones either.
Somebody was complaining about that. Maybe that was Dave.
Netflix has them.
Who has the Tron cartoon? Are you talking about 2012's Tron Uprising?
Yes.
Who has this show? Disney XD. That's regular cable.
I do have Disney XD.
I do have that. All right. Looks like I have something to watch Sunday, 5/10 at 4 a.m. if I'm awake then. Because
it's good. I like it.
That's what it's on.
There was also a Tron comic book, which came out some time ago.
I did not read that.
I did.
You did?
Yes. I did. Yeah,
and
I like Tron.
Do you have any insight for me on what is going on, Lauren?
Well, I read it 10 years ago, and in true Lauren fashion, unless it has anything to do with Archie, I do not remember.
I put way too much salt on this. It is both wonderful and terrible.
So speaking of things you should probably also watch, and I think it is coming to Disney Plus, John Carter from Mars.
I seen it. I seen it before the Disney Plus.
I saw it in theaters. I am a fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs, who also did Tarzan. But I read John Carter from Mars, and I was like, oh man, there's a movie coming out that's great. And the movie was really good, and then everyone else hated it. I was like, no one understands.
I thought it was really good. Movie.
It was a really fun movie. Willem Dafoe was in it.
That's why I thought it was a good movie. I remember now.
And I don't know her name off the top of my head, but the woman who played Deja Thoris was great. She was so good.
Her name was also worked with Willem Dafoe.
6 Degrees to Willem Dafoe, my favorite actor.
Always. I was trying to find the list of things that we actually wanted to talk about to see how we
we had a list.
There was a list, but then we kept talking, including about how much.
Oh, unrelated. Did you see that a new Twilight book is coming out? That's right, folks. So, do you remember 10-ish years ago, Stephanie Meyer started writing a manuscript called Midnight Sun, which told the story of Twilight.
I remember nothing.
I worked in a bookstore at this time, so I remember it. So, she started a manuscript based on Twilight from Edward's point of view.
I thought
And
that was made up.
No, it was real. And somebody leaked, I think, the first few chapters online.
That was real?
And that was real. And Stephanie Meyer got all like pissed off and was like, I'm never going to finish this book. F all of you. You don't deserve Midnight Sun. You don't deserve Midnight Sun. Well, apparently, the Twilight well has run dry, meaning money.
Money.
So now we're getting Midnight Sun. A sequel no one asked for, or maybe they did 10 years ago when Twilight was big. We're getting Midnight Sun. It's coming out, I think, this summer. I am going to do...
Why?
Again, that money well probably ran dry. I don't know. I don't know why we're getting it now. But you know what? Have you read the Twilight books?
No, why would I ever do such a thing? I was practically held against my will. In fact, yeah, basically held against my will and forced to watch them in the fact that I was told that I could not hate what I did not know. So I watched them.
So when I worked at Borders, we were allowed to borrow books. So I read them because I wanted to be knowledgeable as to why I did not like them either. And I read all of them. And they were very poorly written. But they're, for what they are aimed to do, which is to entertain like preteen girls, they're not the worst thing in the world. They're really not that bad. They're terrible, but they're not like, ugh, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they are garbage. They're not garbage.
Movies are equally garbage.
Oh, the movies are fucking terrible. But the books are not garbage because they are young adult or aimed at young women. They are garbage because they are poorly written. There is a quote floating around that Stephanie Meyer said that the first Twilight book was based on Pride and Prejudice. Now, Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book, and I can say with great authority and certainty that it is nothing like Pride and Prejudice.
Wait, I thought these were like True Blood fanfic or something.
I mean, True Blood, I haven't read the True Blood books. I've only seen the show.
The show was just fantastic.
It was over the top.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, so Twilight is coming back. This time from Edward's point of view.
Supposed to be fanfic of? Oh no, 50 Shades of Grey was fanfic of Twilight. Is that it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So we might get more 50 Shades of Grey. This year can only get better. Maybe.
My evil laugh has a cat echo. Hello. We're doing fantastic over here.
So anyway, anything you want to pop in?
Well, I was trying to find that list, and I think I found it. Where were we? Come on. There we go. Tiger King, Nicolas Cage starring in a TV show. Why? Dax Shepard was in that role.
So Nicolas Cage has this unique ability of being a complete fucking weirdo. So I think he can do it.
This is true.
I think he can do it, and I think he'll do it well. I'll watch it.
I really had my heart set on Dax Shepard.
I thought it was going to be that one comedian, David Spade.
No, he already did Joe Dirt. That's already like the predecessor.
Okay, so that shows that he can also be Joe Exotic.
But he's already done that.
You know that David Spade and Kate Spade were related? There's your bit of knowledge for today.
Right? Yeah.
No, brother-in-law, sister-in-law.
Oh, through marriage?
Yep.
That's boring. So, yeah, I think we hit, other than my chair hitting the bureau here. Hold on. I can't listen. I can't.
You don't have to wear a wig.
No. No, I don't have to, but I was only wearing it when I felt evil.
Well, I think we've hit everything for tonight.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to give a shout out to?
No. Shout out to Bmore Geek Girls for making it to episode 3, which means, among
We
other
can now
things,
go to iTunes.
we can go to iTunes. That's right. I am going to submit us to iTunes. So that is my number 1 thing to do on my list of things to do tomorrow, other than my radio show in Oklahoma and Collector's Corner live show at 6 o'clock. We are doing DC and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is why I broke out the wig that I got from you.
I hope it does you well.
Well, it's already served its purpose tonight.
Well, there you go. I'll give a shout out to, again, Growls. They always have meat. They always have eggs. They have dairy, toilet paper, napkins, soap, bleach, masks, and gloves.
And cake.
And delicious cake.
I might have
and please, if you haven't already, check out our YouTube. Like and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon to get dings for when we update. You can find me on Twitter at Baltimore Lauren, from Instagram, Lauren from Baltimore. Also check out my other podcast, Bar Zinga. That's the one I've been doing for a couple years now, where we talk about old comic books, beer, and we interview a lot of people. We had Matt Wagner on a few years ago. That was a lot of fun. Yesterday we did a Star Wars episode. So check us out. We do cool shit. We have cool people on. So,
and
where can we find you, Josie?
Yeah, it's all over the internet at Radio Josie, and Bmore Geek Girls is everywhere as well. And then Wednesday through Saturday, I'm at Collector's Corner doing their Facebook Live show, and who knows where else I pop up sometimes.
You could also read my shit on Bleeding Cool. So if you want my opinions, on comic books and how much I hate Andrew Lloyd Webber's Love Never Dies, head over to Bleeding Cool.
And if you want to know my opinion, I'll tell you right now.
Garbage. I understand why Mr. Sheffield hated Andrew Lloyd Webber so much. It literally all came together. I was watching that musical. I was like, I get it. I get it now. I get it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. We love you.